All right. Welcome back, folks. This is day 2 of class. How is everybody doing today? My apologies for the delay. Technology and everything like that. Sometimes technology loves me, but it's crazy. Oh, we got some Discord action going on here. Okay, no worries. Welcome back. And I'm glad you guys are getting a little bit of time to connect and to build a little bit to build community. So I really appreciate it that you guys are doing that. But what am I missing out on? Any conversations going on in the background? Let's talk. Let's actually do that really quick. So we'll kind of check in and we'll see how everybody is doing. Okay. We got a Discord going on. Is this going to be like the class Discord or unofficial Discord? GDSN 164. So I'll throw that out there. Should I put myself on there? Am I allowed to go on there for just a moment? I don't know if I am allowed or not. Okay. Thank you for putting that together too, by the way. I'm not sure who set that up. Okay, awesome. All right. So I will go ahead and I'll set that up, and I'll go ahead and I'll just share my screen for those who don't know. I guess correct me if I'm wrong. Discord is essentially a community where you can interact, put in voice, put in chat. Am I correct in that assertion, or Cheryl, do you want to kind of elaborate a little bit more as to like the details regarding that? There may be some updates. I may be behind on my Discord action and stuff. I haven't gamed in a minute, but it's more than that now. So
Yeah, I mean, I've only really used it as servers, like enough for gaming, but like overall, like it was really popular like during the quarantine, because you could like connect with a lot of people and stuff. But I just made it right now so we could have it as a class if anyone wants to join. I mean, I feel like later down the line, because we're not gonna meet in person, it's gonna help us communicate with each other. Maybe someone has a question, needs help, something like that. I feel like it's gonna be really helpful later down the line. I think you're muted, sorry.
Thank you. Sorry, I agree. Anything that's gonna help everyone be successful this semester, I definitely go for it. So I will sign up to basically be a part of that. But still email me just to make it official, guys. And I'll try my best to kind of just monitor the Discord, see how that goes. Unless it's just strictly for students and no teachers allowed, that kind of thing, and I'm okay with that too. So if I can jump in, great. Or if you want me to wait, that's good too. And then you guys can have some conversation and things like that going.
No, it's okay. I feel like, people already say that it's okay. I feel like it's okay if you want to join in.
I think it'd be dope if you join.
Yeah, I feel like it'll also like maybe if we have like some quick questions and maybe you're in there, you could help us out sometimes. I don't know.
There we go. I didn't know you were chill like that.
There you go. Yeah, well, I try to do the best that I can, and yeah, you never know. I mean, that could be something down the line too, like after the class is complete. If that's a primary tool of communication, and everyone's got a different group, and this helps you stay in communication, then yeah, why not? I'm totally up for it. So that should help really well. So yeah, thank you for putting that together, guys. Let me go ahead and sign up really quick, so then that way you're maximized. And then I gotta modify my account and then kind of get that going. So I'll just do Pro Almena. That probably works a little bit better. And then you can create the account. I think I have an account. Oh, okay. So that's gonna be the process nowadays. Click continue conference room. Okay. So yeah, I would say thank you guys for putting that together. I really do appreciate that. And then that should open up the Discord. I think there's even a mobile app too, guys, right? And then you could even communicate with it as well or get notifications. So you even have that as an option if you would want to too. You never know, maybe I'll just find myself gaming in there with you too. So if I can have some time, you never know. Birthday, let's see. Do I need to register for birthday? Let's take a look. October 27th. And 27th and good old 79. Oh, not 17, 97. 19, 79. And okay. Well, I'll finish that up in just a few, and then that way we can set it up. So I'll finish up the account, but gosh, really? Okay. Weird. Okay, so I'm gonna add riohondo.edu. And I guess that would help. Okay. And then I guess I'll claim that account, save that up, and I'll get the desktop app a little bit later. Okay. All right, perfect. And we have 11 that are online as well. Okay, this is great. So thank you guys for putting that together. I really appreciate that. And yeah, this is great. Notes, resources, homework, help, off topic. Yeah, I think there was a few folks that were trying to do that a couple semesters ago. So great resource. Well done. So game wise, oh gosh, I'm all over the place. I'm kind of playing with more augmented reality, virtual reality these days, just because I don't know if I mentioned this, but I also teach during the day, but I teach college level classes at a private high school out in Pasadena. So I teach more like engineering, design and engineering, in addition to like this class essentially. So and I teach like 3 units of that full time and then part time at the college, right? So it's essentially kind of like what you took in high school, those classes that you took in high school where you kind of qualify to get college credit. Sometimes known as student enrollment, ROP, CTE, Media Arts Academy. They have different names. I teach a version of that at the high school, and so I'm building up a program, and that's something that I'm kind of putting together too. So. If for whatever reason there's an issue, but obviously all my students are priority. So no matter where you guys are at communication wise, I'm always in the loop, whether it's here at the college or over at the high school. So that's kind of like what's happening in the background. Okay. So thank you guys for putting that together in the Discord, and I'm signed up. And if you can, I think the link is already in the chat. So thank you, Cheryl, for putting that together and setting that up. Okay. All right.
No problem.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk all things class related, guys. Today, we're still in the onboarding process, and I'm going to go ahead and close out the Discord. And that way I don't confuse myself. And I had my keynote, and we'll open up the keynote right there and see where that goes. And get that going for you guys too. And we'll go ahead and switch over and set that up. So, and let's see. Okay, so yeah, I want to welcome everybody back. If you're logging in for the first time too, do not worry. We're basically going through the onboarding procedures. But essentially tonight, we're going to just kind of quickly just go over some procedures. You know, what is Zoom? How does that kind of break down for those of us that might be a little rusty when it comes to Zoom? We're gonna kind of do a little bit more of like a breakout session and see what brings everybody over to the classes, syllabus review, and then we'll kind of do our first exercise, which is an analog name card design. So it's more onboarding. And then once we're kind of set with that, I want to check in to see how everyone's doing with the installation of Adobe Illustrator, because I want to troubleshoot that a little bit more this evening. Okay, so we will get done early tonight, and we'll slowly kind of ramp up the assignments and see how everything's going. But essentially, that's going to be the procedure for this evening, and then we'll kind of move into the designer therapy unit later on, which is going to be on most likely Tuesday. We'll probably get a chance to kind of move into designer therapy. Okay, so quick reminders: Canvas mobile. Okay, I don't know if anyone tried downloading the app, but if you did, and you can maybe give me a little thumbs up emoji just to see if you did or not. But the Canvas mobile is really great. It's an awesome way to check in on your classes. Awesome. I see a few folks that downloaded it. Any first timers out there that did it for the first time? And for this class, maybe you can give me like a little, I don't even know, happy face emoji or exploding emoji. I don't even know what it is now. Alternate. But if this is your first time downloading the app, it's really great. Awesome. Okay, see a few folks there. Cool. I'm surprised that we don't mention it too often when some folks have it, or when you take some of your classes. Some of the instructors know, some of them don't know. Some of you guys already had it, which I see here, which is great. It is awesome, and it's available for both your Apple mobile device and also for Google Play or Android. It's so helpful. I think it's something that just kind of makes you be able to communicate with your professors, check in with the assignments, see when things are due. In my class, I like to upload recordings through YouTube. And so I'm working on trying to figure out a way to get Zoom to connect over to my YouTube channel, so that way it streams directly, converts automatically, and then I can embed into Canvas the video lecture. So I try to do that as a service to you guys, to my students, so that if for whatever reason we lose a connection, something happens, you have to miss class, whatever the case may be, family reasons, work, whatever the case, then you can always revert back to the video and review it as well. Okay, so that's kind of the sense I got out of that. I just want to make sure that everyone can see it and feel comfortable using it, and maybe have a little bit more organization throughout their semester. Okay, so that's kind of the idea behind that. And so it's really helpful, and I use it myself when it comes to communications and things as well. If it's your first time using Adobe, well, don't worry, the class is based on that. There's some really great apps as well for Adobe. There's mobile versions, there's iPad versions, desktop, of course. So there's a lot of variations when it comes to Adobe products. So we'll cover that when we cross those bridges. But I kind of wanted to give everybody a little bit of a second to kind of connect, and then switch gears before we talk about like Zoom really quickly. It's just a quick review on protocols and procedures in case anyone is semi-formal with it. But before I do any of that stuff, I kind of want to see where everybody is right now in their years of education, okay? So just out of curiosity, let me see. I could type this in here so that we can kind of see it. I would say, what year are you? Or what year are you when it comes to school here at Rio, okay? Just out of curiosity, like if this is your first year and you just graduated from high school, second year, about to transfer, or maybe you just came back and you're coming from the workforce, go ahead and type in the chat, and just let's see where you guys are coming from in terms of your walk. Like, where are you guys coming from? And let's see where you're at. First year, okay. All right, so let's see, first year is my first year, third, first, third, second, first year at Rio, okay. Okay, a lot of first years here. Whoa, okay, that's awesome. Very, very cool. Okay, coming back after a long break. All right, welcome back. It's never too late to advance your education. In fact, it's lifelong learning. So my hope is that everybody becomes lifelong learners and comes back at all ages, any age, young or old. First year, don't only trade school, okay. And dare I ask, how many guys this is like first year / first semester ever going to college? So you guys are like recent grads, this is like your first semester ever in college. Oh wow, look at you guys. That's funny. So essentially, the high school teacher got the high school graduate's first semester college student. Is that about accurate? So first year official semester after high school, after 2 months. Okay, no worries. You would. All right. So we're you guys are. Oh wow. Okay. So you guys are actually going to be kind of spoiled because well, if you have any other classes, you'll probably slowly start to discover that I'm kind of different than my colleagues. I'm a little bit more engaged. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say that I'm more engaging, but I do tend to do things a little differently because that's just what a creative person does. And so hopefully you'll get like a positive experience from that. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, awesome. So this is great. Straight from workforce. Awesome. Well, welcome. I want to welcome everybody, of course, to the class. And yeah, if you're coming back and you're in the workforce, that's great. And it's never too late. You always want to level up your skills. 21st century learning is lifelong learning. So at the end of the day, at some point, all of us will probably come back and do something training related, learning related in our careers. If you're planning to be a graphic designer, you'll probably do a lot of learning, because every year the program always has an update, advancement, and so the programs are built in with little learning and tutorials that you can basically like level up your skills every year. So it's always like an annual thing. Almost every other year, there's like a level up in the programs that you're learning and trying new things constantly. So that's great. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm pleased that you guys are in the class, and I know exactly like the demographic and who I'm working with and how that's playing out. It's going to be great, guys. It's going to be a positive experience. Every college professor is built a little differently. So yeah, it's going to be, some are flexible. Some will be very, very tough love in some regards. I try to be a little bit somewhere in the middle, just because we want you guys to be successful and know like what the options are and how it all kind of plays into your college experience. But the hope is that whether you get your associate's degree or you're going into transferring or considering transfer, it's still you have a good team. The graphic design team is pretty good. Professor Gardos comes from private as well, so he's taught at like expensive colleges, and then he wanted to serve you guys in our local community. So you're getting kind of like a private school education here at Rio. And then with my experience, working at like, big companies like your Disney or your Funko and, these relatively successful companies, you guys are getting that exposure as well. Mainly because we believe that you guys deserve it. And because people like Professor Gardos, myself, and all the other professors on campus were exactly where you were, or at one point or another, right? Somebody helped us. We had a teacher that kind of leveled up our game, and then we want to pay that back to you guys. We want to serve you guys to the best of our ability. So I'm sure none of us ever thought that online would be a thing, or Zoom or pandemics would be a factor. But we make the most of it, and luckily we have technology to kind of help us. And it kind of is it's kind of a seamless connection between technology, graphic design, and video online. They all kind of work together seamlessly, as you guys discovered within the last couple of years. Okay, so then I can probably speed up the Zoom stuff because most of you guys pretty much have done 2 years of your high school experience online, and then the other one in person. Am I right in that assessment? So you guys are kind of like coming in and basically like, okay, I already know Zoom, professor, I understand it, and everything's kind of straightforward for me. So if that's you can give me a little thumbs up emoji. I just kind of want to go over this just to kind of level the playing field and make sure that everyone is pretty much understanding of what we're at. Okay, so I'll go over this quickly on the Zoom protocols. I think the first thing I'll say is that the hope is that you guys have some type of online, or preferably the downloaded version of Zoom on your computer. So if you are using like the browser version, it's good with a fast enough internet connection. But if you have the opportunity to download the Zoom app, which goes into the computer, it does tend to work a little better, I'm finding, provided that your computer can hold that space, storage, and launch. So both online on your phone, or even the downloaded version. I tend to prefer the downloaded version. So hopefully that's something that you can look towards and apply into your workflow, okay? Whichever is the most convenient. I'm not too picky. I would just say whatever's not gonna slow down your computer, okay? So that's gonna be the first thing, okay? Virtual classroom, essentially, things are sort of common sense. Do you have a distraction-free environment where you can work? If not, is there a place that you can go to where you can log in, see, and work without any interruptions, preferably? Obviously, that can be a reality. I'm working in a similar situation, just like you guys. So anything that can reduce distraction to a minimum, not eliminate it, but just be minimum is good in any situation. So hopefully you have that wherever you're at, okay? It'll automatically mute you. If there is any question that you might have, you can type it in the chat or use the raise hand feature, which is also in your system. So there's that option available. So whichever you feel comfortable with is good. You can even unmute yourself and just say, Professor, I have a question. Whichever is the most convenient is helpful. Just know that if, let's say I'm working with another student, if you want to type it in, send a message direct or follow up with me, that'd be great. Sometimes I could be in multiple conversations, and so I just want to make sure that there's a record of you making that question, okay? Chat box is good, but remember it is public record and it's kept and archived. So everything that is in the chat through the institution is recorded. So just think of it as like email. If you work in an email environment, and in any work situation, every email, every communication is stored in a company's server and is considered a legal document. Okay, I don't know if anyone's told you that, but anything in an institution that is not considered quote private is archived. So at the end of this session, all the chats are archived into a file, and so for retrieval from anyone right up to the dean or administration. So it's not an unmonitored environment essentially. So just letting you know about that. So just be respectful of everyone's opinions, and rarely do I have issues. So but just so that you know, okay? If you want to take notes, feel free with pen and paper, video, digital, whatever is the most convenient. Typically, I like to do things visually and demonstrate and then have you apply and do, so that's helpful. So I like to teach by doing, right? Or you learn by doing it. So this is probably one of the few times I talk this much. Eventually, once we complete our onboarding procedures and get everyone settled in, I'm talking maybe 15, 20, or 30 minutes, depending on like the complexity of the lesson, okay? I will give you guys the option to turn on or off your camera. So I'm not going to be picky and say you have to have it on. But it's one of those things, I'll leave it as an option. But if I have to, ask you guys to turn on your cameras, that's great. Sometimes, yes, some students log in, kind of, forget, and they, when you finish the session, they're still kind of online. Whichever the case may be, just know that there might be a time I might call you in class to kind of make a comment or answer a question. And I'll try my best to warn you in advance, okay? All right, there's always a unique link for every classroom. So if you have Chrome, Safari, Firefox is kind of phasing out a little bit. You can use any of those browsers, but of course, if you can, whatever is less slow, or the app that doesn't slow your computer down is preferred, okay? All right, you're starting to notice that when you click onto the link, it's automatically runs and launches Zoom, and you're starting to notice as well that it's not it's an open classroom even if I'm not there. And I did that by design so that you guys can kind of start talking, connecting, and having chats as you did today, right? Professor's not here, let's have a chat, create a Discord. I kind of set it up by design that way so that anytime you guys get in or log in before I do, you can start building community. You can start talking to one another, asking questions. So feel free to do that at any time before, during, or even after class, okay? So just know that when it is there, right, it's kind of like record and things like that. So probably Discord is probably a little bit more informal, but if you need a Zoom link, you got one here and it's open for you all the time, okay? So just throwing that out there. Okay, when you log in, let's see, open Zoom meetings, click Zoom. I think we all know that because we're here. You don't have to wait for me as the host, but it should be no problem. And before you're able to join the meeting, you'll be asked to enter. You already have that, so you don't need to worry about that. Video, you'll check your video to make sure it's working. Hopefully it is. We checked it on Tuesday, so everyone's videos are working just fine. But just in case, I'll warn you in advance in case you want to check your video settings, okay? I got a reply or a question here, or comment. If my internet's not working, like went out and my internet's not working, no worries there. If you can, however way you're logging in is fine. Tonight is basically analog, so I'm not gonna have anyone do anything tech heavy this evening because I want to see first how your technology is working. So today is gonna be very much like checking in to see how the tech is. Okay. Okay, audio we won't get into. Editing your name in the meeting. I think everyone knows, but if you ever want to edit your name, you can under the participants button indicated in the graphic here. Obviously, you don't want to change it to nicknames. You want to make sure we say who you are. And so I obviously modified mine to professor and host and things of that sort. So generally we want to make sure that's, first name, last name. If there's anyone that logs in that is, not supposed to be here, then obviously I have the ability to boot them out. But I want to see everyone's names that are registered in the class. So, and of course you have the link because you're registered. So I don't anticipate anyone bombing or invading our link. Okay, unless you're trying to switch from one device or another, please let me know if that's the case too, okay? Mute button, video button, turn it off or on, click onto it. I think that's self-explanatory. Chat box, that's that little box that says chat. You can click onto it, which everyone has obviously been doing. So if you have that mobile version, I think it's swiping activates the chat if you're on mobile. I think it's like a swipe left, it activates your chat. Raising hands, we talked about that. You can raise your hand by clicking onto participants, raising your hand, or typing in your question in the chat, okay? I won't worry about annotation so much. Sometimes you can annotate or I will annotate, but not too much of an issue in the class. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not, but most of the time we have Adobe Illustrator to make annotations or comments. And I always like to annotate with drawing or little arrows, so you'll see that more on my side than anything, okay? Sharing screens is as easy as it is to press the share button. So I think the new version is new share. So anytime you want to share a screen, when we're doing art or critiques to share your work, new share your screen will give you that ability to do that. And of course, everyone knows how to leave by leaving the classroom or clicking end that meeting, okay? If you have questions about Zoom, we do have a support page or support link, Rio Hondo EDU help desk. They're pretty helpful. If the link's not working, I'll try my best to update it. But it's a great way to just kind of check with support. Normally at the beginning of the semester, it takes about 24 hours to 72 hours, I think, for them to kind of connect with you. So if at any point you need any type of support, they are here to help you. They're trying to really, they're working really hard to kind of do things quickly. This is what the link looks like. So you can click to open a technology request, enter your login, which is your username and password, and you should be able to make a request, talk to them if anything happens technologically in your system, okay? So if anything happens, you can call them, email them, or go to this link. I'll place it in the chat and then place it into our page as well. They even have a technical support telephone number as well. So they're here to help you there and to serve, okay? I don't know if anyone's used them yet, but they do come in pretty handy. So let me go ahead and just make sure that that is like an official hyperlink. It should be an official hyperlink. And there it goes. So if you have your computer, you can even click it, bookmark it for the future, and then you can contact them in case any issues or concerns, okay? All right. Typically, I have lots of procedures, but really four simple rules in our class environment. Rule number one is make sure whatever you create is the coolest thing on your screen. So that's like the number one rule in our class, right? Lots of procedures of doing things, but the number one rule above all is make sure whatever you make is the coolest thing on your screen. So the design from a scale of 1 to 10, this thing is the coolest thing, right? It looks great. You're feeling good about it. If it's not there, I'm here to help. I'm here to get you there. And so that's part of the process of taking the class, okay? Come in, obviously you want to come in curious, wondering what's happening. Obviously I'm going to try to lecture as quick as I can to get you on the computer building, modeling, so that we're not going too late, because I want to maximize your energy, even though some of us might be middle to almost, getting a little bit tired, right? So anything to kind of keep you awake, try your best, go for a walk before class starts, maybe eat something, have a cup of coffee. Those things could help you and maximize your time, okay? But coming curious, wondering what's going to happen, okay? I try to make the projects really engaging, so hopefully they are to you, and they are interesting in some way, shape, or form. And so let me go ahead and switch it back over here so you can see it. There you go. And so becoming curious, and then hopefully we can appease your curiosity, right? If there's any electronic devices nearby, try your best to control them. I know we're trying our best to be as focused as possible. I totally get it. There's devices, there's distractions, there's people, there's family, there's older people, there's little people, young people, dogs, cats, everything. So anything to kind of control those distractions would be great. So try to keep that within a distraction-free environment as best as possible, okay? If you can, if it's too noisy wherever you're at, does a coffee shop work? Is there, somewhere on campus perhaps that's open that we're still kind of working to see if it's possible or not to be there? So try your best, right? If you're at work, go for it, right? If it's okay for them to do it at work, for you to be online at work, and you can hang out for a little bit, go for it. Whatever is the most distraction-free environment, that's going to be really, really helpful, okay? So that's the general idea there. I don't think I'm going to go into academic referrals and things of that sort. I don't think it really is required, but if things happen or I'm noticing any behavioral changes, then I normally give you like a warning or some type of reminder, like, hey, don't worry, let's get focused. Rarely does it go with conferences or one-on-one conversations. Never gets to 3, never gets to 4, because we go over these procedures pretty well, okay? I think successful learning is just going through like how to do what. And so I'm here to show you how to do these things, okay? Final thoughts, daily commitment to hard work. It's possible for the success of an, quote, average student to surpass that of a student who is, quote, naturally talented. Hard work matters, but working smarter and also matters too. So it's a combination of both, right? We want to work smarter, but we want to but we also want to work hard through that intelligence, okay? So that's the general consensus there. All right, so what we'll do here is kind of switch things up a little bit. So going back to the syllabus, if you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat. But I wanted to go over those Zoom procedures, okay? And this is actually the lecture we got here. What brings us to the class? And I think we mentioned it briefly, okay? And we'll talk about that when we do our name card design, because you kind of mentioned it as well. But let's just kind of go over Canvas for just a quick second, and then we'll go over the exercise this evening, and then give you guys some time to talk about Adobe Illustrator, okay? So Canvas, okay? I'm gonna switch over so you can take a peek at it. So the way I set up Canvas this semester is the way I normally set it up throughout all the semesters. I try to create a stream of information for you guys to have. So it's meant to be a wall, and I'm going to switch my chat here so you can take a peek at it and go to student view. And let's go to Zoom and let's switch over to the page here. How is the page not found? Okay. We want it to be found. That's the whole idea behind that. Okay. All right, and let's go to student view so you can take a look at it. Okay, and we will go home and set it up. So Canvas, I know teachers do Canvas a lot of different ways, lots of buttons, lots of different things. It can get really confusing. Like I said on our last class, most students just want to know the basics, okay? They only want to know what's due and when and what's my grade. So what do I need to do and when do I need to turn it in? And what's my grade in that entire process? That's really the most important piece of information because you're busy, we're all busy. And so unit 1 is obviously orientation, but as you can see, lots of information, lots of formats, lots of things of that sort there, but it will always kind of follow like a unit per week, give or take a week here and there. If we have to go 2 weeks, some units go for 2 weeks, but it's designed just to basically be top down, click, activity, video, done, right? And so that's kind of the idea behind it. The activity from yesterday, I reloaded it, so it ended up being like the wrong due date. So I'll make that change. But if you did it online on Google Form, you're good. But I'll change those dates so that it doesn't confuse anyone. But we will take a look at a couple of items that I wanted to highlight. So then that way you have access to it. And let me go ahead and make a note of that. All right, so everyone knows grades. You click onto your grades and it'll show you basically performance, right? What's due. These are some of the assignments that are coming soon to a class near you. So these are ready to go. They're ready to launch. And once they do, you'll see it. We do warm-ups. Those are discussion posts. So you'll see that and I'll direct you to that and how that's done. But essentially you see your grade, and you see how you're performing over on the class with the total at the bottom, okay? So it's a quick view to see where everything's at and how you're doing and where you need to catch up. And we will give you that time to turn in those assignments promptly, okay? So we have that happening there. So it's pretty straightforward. Half the grade is projects, or half of everything we do is a project, so 55% of the grade is projects, okay? And so they're good, they're fun. I think they are, and you should hopefully be a little interested or excited with it because, well, I hope they turn into portfolio reviews after that, okay? The other thing I wanted to highlight is something that I try to be really aware of and just really respectful towards is just your wellness. You know, coming out of the pandemic, I think wellness is your health is a big factor and really, really important as it should be. The college has made some investments into something called Wellness Central. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it before, or if your instructors mentioned it to you. But what this little button is called Wellness Central, and Wellness Central is basically a free resource that we give to you. Where the not the school per se, but the whole community college system to which our school operates under, offers online health and wellness resources so that you guys can seek help for free whenever you need it, okay? Online, sometimes even at a local place if there's information on it, but it's a good resource. And just looking at this, you know, you can say that you're a student, you click onto your college that you're attending. So there's a lot of colleges here throughout the system here in California. Rio Honda's a little bit towards the bottom. You enter Wellness Central, and basically it takes you through this dashboard. And the dashboard will give you information on like if you need immediate assistance, you know, who you can call if you're feeling overwhelmed. You can text Courage to 741-741. It really gives you like a one-stop shop for support and wellness, and they have 6 dimensions of wellness so that you can actually like investigate it even further. So if there's like a need for financial wellness, or you're having some difficulties financially, then you can look at the 6 dimensions of wellness and basically look at all the features and all the resources that are available to you for financial wellness. So for example, it talks about finances in the process of finances, credit scores, financial success, financial attitude quiz, wellness scales, financial aid, budgeting and planning, nerd wallet. I mean, they give you they point you in all the right directions. If you need local health, mental health center near you, they'll connect you to regions where you can go to seek support. If I understand correctly, the college even has psychologists on campus based on appointment. And if you need to talk to someone that in person, obviously I can talk to you in person. But if you need a greater level of support, or if we need some type of psychological support on a greater level, then we do have psychologists on the campus available to you that you can sit with, talk online or in person. And they do offer some services psychologically to you, such as crisis intervention, short-term psychotherapy, support groups, workshops on Wednesday at the Dream Center, outreach programs, faculty consultations, outside referrals to other services. So 11:30 to 12:30 Monday through Friday. There's a QR code if you need individual counseling. So if you have your phones, you can take a quick little click on it right now, and you're set up, and you can get a one-on-one counseling for free to kind of help you work through a little bit of that trauma, right? It's interesting because statistically, the biggest group that has been impacted by COVID has basically been us, you guys, Latinos, and people of color, right? We've been greatly impacted. And as a result, everyone has been impacted to some degree, but more so within our own communities. So I make it a point to point you guys in the right direction. And if you guys are, having some on this journey towards getting better mentally, then I'm right there with you, right? I have family, I have friends. I can be a little anxious at times. I worked throughout COVID-19. I put in all my time and effort to support my students, and at the risk of my own health, basically. And so now I am like taking steps towards like rebuilding those things for myself, right? So you guys are great. We managed to get you guys through it. Now it's everyone's responsibility to take it upon themselves to seek help, and to seek help and to admit that you need it. All right. So if I have to stop that, just know, I'm looking at you guys straight in the eye. It's okay to not be okay. And I've had students use these resources and then come back saying, you know what, Professor, I made the call. I found somebody. I feel so. I'm on track to wellness, and thank you for pointing me in that right direction. So we're doing it for ourselves. If you work in education, like I see here, thank you for your services. You guys are awesome, and it's nice to move forward, right? But it will come with a little bit of reconstruction and a little bit of time to rebuild. Okay, and if you're young, and you're like, damn, I've never seen this before, it's totally okay. I'm gonna call it. I'm just gonna say that you guys are probably the strongest generation that's ever come out of anything, and they'll look back. People will look back and basically say, like, how'd you get through it? And then you'll say, because we had to, and we did it, and we supported each other through that process. Okay, so I just want to let you know there's free services out there for you. Please take advantage of them if you need support. If you need to reach out to me, I will point you in the right direction. I will do the best that I can to support you in that. Okay. So if that works, you can give me a little thumbs up emoji. But wellness is big, guys. And so whatever you're doing to stay focused and to be relaxed, that's great. And I will say too, because I know we got like some Discord / maybe gamers. If you're try to not game as much, guys. Okay, and you know what I'm talking about. Okay, go to sleep, please. Some of you guys can stay up till 5 a.m. gaming after class. Get some rest if you can, please. We're gonna do a section on learning how to learn, and basically, no surprise, sleep does help you retain information better. So try to get some rest. Okay, it's gonna be really important at the end of the day. All right, so. We're good. Let me come back to Canvas. Again, awesome resource. Take advantage of it. Counselors are here to help you all the time. Okay, so we have that. Student Connect it kind of snuck in there. I don't normally use it. I haven't seen it. Yep, that's why, because it's error message. So I will remove that. That should not be there. It's really the 3 links. So home, grades, and your wellness. So where do I go? What's my grade? And how's my health? These are really important things. So you want to make sure you're concentrating on that and staying to keeping tabs on your wellness, okay? And of course, your education. So that's what it is in a nutshell, okay? And let's see if anyone has any questions about Canvas or any the things, go ahead and type it in the chat, because we will kind of take a moment to get the assignment going, and then we'll talk about Adobe Illustrator, okay? So if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat or direct message me, but that is your system, guys, okay? Email, I don't think we need to talk about email. Normally it goes through the system there. I do send updates regularly. So I would say check your calendar regularly for that and set that up, okay? Okay, moving on. No questions? Awesome. Okay, let's talk, where's the courses? Okay, let's talk about just the scheduling, which is the some of the things about how this class works. Let's open up orientation. Welcome to GDSM 164, how this class works. So this link, we kind of briefly mentioned it. There's a few things here that I just want to bring your attention to. The project timeline, so project description and timeline. If you just want to get like a map of where we are, where we're going, and how things are going project-wise, you can definitely click onto the second link here, which is the course project timeline. And it basically shows you what's coming in the class, like what's going to happen and how things are going to kind of process. So it's basically a Google Sheet, and it shows the projects involved. And my wife is saying, turn on the lights. Okay, time out for a second. Alexa, turn on courtyard lights. I have Alexa, so. There you go. Look at that. I voice activated my lights. Okay. The tech teacher does it. So my wife is basically saying, oh, hey, turn on the lights and I can voice it in. Okay. So in terms of just scheduling, okay, it's the projects on the left-hand side here. So they're really helpful. You get to see what the unit is and what the dates are and how long we're going to work on it. I tend to work about a week per section, give or take. A couple of days here, a couple of days there, a week to a week and a half, maybe even pushing 2 weeks. So most units are designed to move pretty quickly. I try to do as many relevant projects as possible so that you can get at least 1 or 2 portfolio pieces out of it, okay? I want you guys to get something so that you can possibly have a portfolio going so you're ready to work during or even after college, okay? So my goal is to get portfolio pieces out of you, okay? And those pieces are things that have principles of design, that are relevant, that are important, that you can talk about and communicate effectively about using language that is used in our world of graphic design. And so principles of design, everything related to that, those are all things that we'll be talking about, like how to talk about it, how to see the work, how to see like a designer, and how to build a design like a designer. So it's there and it's kind of cool. And I think it's important. I think my students found a lot of value in this in like the years that I've been teaching it. So hopefully you'll find value in it as well. Okay. Designer therapy is the first sort of unit next week. We're going to go over like just basic things like learning. How does the brain learn? What does the neuroscience say? Habits. What are the bad habits that you guys need to work on to get better with? And what does the science say now about developing new habits? And we talk about the money next week. So how much to charge your clients? It always happens where every time you say, I'm taking a graphic design class or I'm going to school to be a designer, somebody's going to bust out with, I would like to hire you. And so I always start with this first, because and I dare say, you take a job and you want me to help you with that job, because I have students that said, okay, professor, I got this like logo. I know we haven't talked about it yet. but maybe you can help me after class and this and that, and help me how to charge. Yeah, that's happened in the past. And so I just decided to add a small lesson about how to charge clients. It's called value-based design or value-based pricing. And so we talk about that. And so we talk about how to get hundreds, if not, $1,000 out of a client, and how to get that talk and how to make that discussion move in that direction. So if you're working or work in an area, or you're in a business that kind of is hiring you to do design, whether it's part-time, full-time, or even a family or relative, we're going to talk about the numbers and what the numbers say the work is worth. Okay. And so that's important as well. So yeah. And so just going back to the scheduling, everything goes through dates. So you'll notice that we have like a little quarter, first quarter, second quarter build up here. And right here in red is essentially like Q1, October, September, October, and then what's happening in those dates vertically below. So that's kind of how I set it up. I'm visual, and so I like to see where we are, what month it is, and how we're tracking in the projects. And of course, color is there to kind of separate those units. And then in yellow, these are dates that are coming in that we will not meet. Okay, so we got November, we got December, and yeah, you guessed it. There's a Thanksgiving. We're not going to be meeting, so there's a day on Thanksgiving that we won't be meeting. December obviously is the end of the semester, so we'll have a day that we don't meet, primarily because you are in finals, and so we actually separate days for you to take finals so that you don't have more than one final in one day at the college. So we kind of separate and break it out that way. And so we have like 2 dates where we don't meet in there. Okay. Again, if there's an emergency or something happens, or we modify the class for whatever reason, I'll keep you in the loop, but those are official holidays where we don't meet. Okay. And so if this is making sense, you can give me a little thumbs up emoji. Just to make sure that that's like, okay, cool, professor, I totally get it. And I understand where you're coming from, and see how things are kind of playing out in this wonderful world. Cool. All right, that's great. Yes, I try to get as much done in the semester as possible, guys. So we try to move quick, but we try to go deep into the content too, okay? All right, cheat sheets, okay? I used to teach the Photoshop class in the past, but these links are quick keys. They're older, but I like the graphic versions, and they're still relatively the same. So quick keys in short is basically, if I draw with my mouse or with my right hand or whatever my primary drawing hand is, then the other hand is using the keyboard to kind of switch between tools, right? Because every time you click onto a key or a certain command, Command C, Command V to paste or copy and paste, then it's what are those things and what does those codes look like? I like this layout because it's very clear for both Windows and for Apple OS. And so these are really great. So, if you hit, Command and the letter V or V on a certain app in Illustrator, it's going to create, or it's going to activate the direct selection tool. If you zoom, it's a Z or Command Z to kind of zoom in. So these are really, really great tools to kind of show you like, oh, what is the shortcut to kind of zoom in without using the mouse? Mainly to save time, right? That's why they're called quick keys or keyboard shortcuts. When you add up the time, it adds up to minutes and it makes you work more efficiently, faster. It just gets you to create sooner, right? And so I have one for Adobe Illustrator, which is really helpful. So if you have some time, take a look at it. It's really cool. I have one for Photoshop too. So if you're curious to see how it plays out in Photoshop, there's also a Photoshop version. Again, it's just an added resource. You don't need it, but if you're taking the Photoshop class as well, take a look. This might be helpful to see like, oh, this is the command for this, or this command does this, or, oh, this does this for that. It should work for Chrome. So these should be all effective for, well, if it's Chrome computers, it may be for Windows. That's a good question. So let me investigate that, because it could be set up differently for it. And to be honest, Chrome is, well, no, there's some Chrome computers that can download, but it's Windows. But if it's a Chromebook, it's technically an internet computer. So I don't think it's available for Chrome unless there's a hard drive and it's downloading to your device. Yeah, I think it won't work for Chrome unless that computer is set up on a hard drive, so, and not on the internet. So good question there. And if anyone else knows, you can type it in as well, but I don't believe so. I think it's typically going to be a Windows or PC device, or excuse me, a Windows computer or a Apple computer that's going to do it. So good question there. So iPad is technically online, but you still have to download it. So that's available for you there. Okay. How-to videos, we'll cross that bridge when we get to the assignment, but I do a couple of links on how to pick up Google Sites when we get there, and link sharing. I also have some information about that too. Okay. All right. If you need to book an appointment, email's there as well. Thank you guys for doing that. And I also have a little link where if you want to book the time, have a little calendar reminder, instantly downloads to your phone or to your calendar on your computer so that it gives you a reminder. Again, I like to work efficiently. Then you could use the Set More app link. It's a little calendar app. It just basically, it's like a little booking system, and it gives you a little bit of booking systems for free. And I like anything that's free that can save me time. So this basically will allow you to like book time, click the time, and it puts it in my calendar, and then it alerts me that you're coming like 10-15 minutes before. So it keeps everybody in check, and it's mostly designed for reminders. So if at any point you want to book it and you like the little calendar download on your device, go for it. It's really helpful. I like reminders because, I'm doing a million things at one time. And so anything that I can automate is always a good thing. Okay. Sound pretty good? All right. Let us take a break, and we will talk about the name card design because we are almost there. Okay. Let's do a 5-minute break, guys. Okay. And then when we get back, we'll talk about the name card exercise. And then I'm gonna leave a little bit of time for me to check in to see if anyone has questions about their Adobe Illustrator and downloads. Okay. So we'll do a 5-minute break, and we'll set it up there. I'll put up a little timer too in just a moment, and we'll get everybody back in about 5 minutes. Okay. All right. We'll see you in just a few. Okay. All right, guys. So we're back, and let's talk a little bit about the first exercise. Okay. And which is an analog exercise. And after that, I'm going to open up the floor a little bit for questions regarding Adobe Illustrator, and essentially dismiss you guys a little early with some instructions on just like how we're going to do it for next time. Okay. And what's going to happen when we meet next time. Okay. So no technology yet. And that's basically so we can get some time to download and troubleshoot any issues with your programs and add any students that want to get added to the class. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the name card exercise. Okay. And we will get you going from there. Okay. All right. So, all right. First exercise we're going to do is that we're going to go analog. Okay. We're actually going to go by hand. This is called a name card exercise or name card design. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to take a sheet of paper. Okay. And you're going to design your name on that card. Okay. Essentially, what we're going to do with that card is that it's going to open us up to share who you are and what brings you to the class. Okay, so it's kind of like a design / icebreaker exercise, and it helps me kind of see how you create, 2, where what level you are in that creation, and 3, really problem solving. So it's just kind of, it's opening up more of that lateral thinking in a really hands-on kind of a way, okay? So it's just meant to kind of, for me to see where you are. So it gives us an opportunity to see how you're designing and what you're designing. So I'm not looking at design per se. I'm just looking at what you create and how you're creating it and how you're sort of seeing things visually, okay? So it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? But for the name card, we would like to see, obviously, your name on it, okay? So the way it's gonna work is that you could take, it's very simple, okay? If you have like a sheet of paper, all you're gonna basically do is take any sheet of paper. It could be something in the front printed on it, that's fine. You wanna take the blank sheet, and essentially what you're gonna do is that you're gonna fold that sheet in half, and when you fold it in half, you're going to design, let's take a look here, your name on it. So you're gonna take that sheet, fold it in half, right? And using, whether you have color pencils, or if you have some type of, well, it really depends whether you have like a color pencil, markers, crayons, whatever you have at your disposal. You're going to basically design your name or how you would like to be identified in the class, or what you want people to call you in the class, okay? Just to kind of give you a couple of examples as a reference, okay? We did this in my other classes and we used like a smaller index card, but you know, it could be something simple where you're like, you know, you're putting up your name, and you're adding graphics associated with it that have like things of your interest. So in addition to your name, right, you want to include images, graphics of things that you kind of find interesting, okay? So it could be anything. It could be sports, it could be music, it could be, you know, trips, palm trees, really anything and everything is at your disposal. So because when we see it, you know, obviously we want to be able to see it visually, but at the same time, I should be able to kind of get a little bit of an idea of like what your interests are, and so you can share it with the class, okay? So that's like one example. Doesn't have to be perfect. I've seen people do like, you know, some minimalistic things and put dimension to it and shading. It's really however you think it looks good, right? Going to that first rule of the class, which is, you know, just make it look cool, right? Is that the coolest thing? Is that the coolest, you know, design of your name? And again, I'm not looking at it for, I'm not looking at it and for perfection. It's just more like, how do you create, and what's going on in your mind in terms of that creation, okay? And how comfortable are you in that process? So those are a few examples. Obviously, we're going to take with a sheet, it's going to be a little bit more horizontal, a little bit more rectangular. That's fine. But think about it in terms of like, well, if somebody was standing 6 feet away from me, would they be able to see it? Okay. And when it's done, we're basically going to go into like a couple of breakout rooms, and we'll share with the class your design. So you will be showcasing this to everyone in class, and the whole class will get to know and a little bit about yourself and hear about yourself for about a couple of minutes, because we'll showcase it and see where it is. Okay, so that's going to be that first exercise, and we'll set this up for Tuesday of next week to be completed. So is that good with everybody? Tuesday next week, next Tuesday, we will share the name cards. We'll talk, we'll get to see everybody, right? Make sure, you know, you're ready to be seen on camera on Tuesday, because you're going to share something about yourself, and you're going to share with us a couple of things, essentially like what is your name and what brings you to the class. Okay, so it's a really cool time. It helps. We get to see who you are, what you do, what you love to do, what you want to do, and in the end, it kind of helps us build community in the classroom. Okay, so it's pretty cool, and it gives us a chance just to kind of talk and get to know one another, so that it's not so one way with me. You guys can talk amongst each other, as I'm starting to see with your conversations before class starts. Okay. All right, so that's going to be the game plan for next week, next Tuesday. Okay. In that, if you have questions, between now and next Tuesday, you can always email me, send me a message. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. Again, do the best that you can, and just, from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the coolest, is this the coolest thing on paper, right? In your opinion, and do you feel, pretty good about it? So that's going to be the format there. Okay. Okay. Let me take a quick moment to survey and just see if anyone has successfully created or was able to download the Adobe Illustrator app on their computer. So if you can let me know what type of computer, PC or Mac, and if it was done, or if you did it, could you kind of identify briefly, what is your device? You don't have to say the model, but just say, PC or Apple or a Mac, and I did it or not yet, you didn't do it. So I just kind of want to see where everybody was at and if you did it. So what is the device? And yes or no, were you able to install? Okay. So if you can go ahead and type it in the chat, that's great. Okay, did it today. Mac, yes. Downloaded today. Gaming laptop, Windows, Dell laptop, PC, desktop PC, yes. Okay, so far so good. Everyone got the email. Okay, I did it on a Micro, Surface Pro. Okay, I didn't download it yet. Downloaded it onto the Mac. Okay, cool. And instructions were good, I would say, right? Microsoft Surface. Haven't downloaded it yet, not yet. Okay, so you have some time, okay? It's it probably is the brown one, yeah, the one that says AI, so Adobe Illustrator. Chrome, I don't know if it's going to do it for the Chrome computer. I would because I don't know if it's a one with a hard drive or it's a small hard drive with an internet connection. So if you have a Chromebook, maybe get onto that as soon as possible, so that we can see if it downloads all the way, because we might need to have an alternate computer. Okay, so being repaired, but you know how to install. Okay. License had expired. Okay, so it might require a download again, Alicia. So try logging out. I don't know if you have like a new license or if it's an old license, or if it's like if you got the email to activate and deactivate. So you may have to like log out all the way, and then maybe click onto the link for reinstall. Okay, let's take a look. Yes, there are some loaner laptops at school and the Learning Resource Center, but they would have to make sure that it's installed onto those computers for you, and just make sure that it's loaded. So you would have to definitely like check before it's set there. Okay, so all right, so that's what we're looking at there. Yours says the same. Okay, so we will go over and okay, and Jade, you said you have Miss Jody as well, to ignore her expiration. The expiration. Okay. Application can be used for 4 more days. Says application can be used. Miss Jade says she just ignore it and the expire there. Okay. So based on what I'm seeing, are you guys operating a Adobe Illustrator that was previously activated and it's looking to be deactivated in 4 days, or is this with a new activation and saying you have like 4 days before it's deactivated? I'm just curious to see where it's at. A new activation. It's the school one. Okay. Account says it'll be gone in 4 days. And it says to renew. Okay. I would probably recommend try logging out all the way. So if you can log out on your computer, and then see if you need to click onto the Rio email and which is like, I guess, sent this week, and see if you need to click onto that to make the reinstallation. Sometimes we need to send a message to IT to kind of renew like certain licenses. So from what I'm gathering, mostly everyone in the class was able to install it. And for those folks that haven't, please refer to, I wanted to say my MHS, but please refer to Canvas, because I do have instructions on Canvas that go through step-by-step procedures on how to download the application, okay? So that would be found under this Adobe Creative Cloud installation, and it has step-by-step instructions for the installation process, okay? Worst come to worst, if let's say it's still not working, we will send a ticket to IT and they can redo the resend and reset, okay? Sometimes what I find is that if you have an old account, or if the account's saying 4 days, try logging out all the way, logging back in to see if it's still offering and saying it's like a 4-day countdown, because your email should say that it's free for the semester with those applications like Adobe Illustrator available to you. Okay. So it looks like majority of the class has it, with the exception of maybe like 3 or 4 folks. Okay. Okay. Does that help for those folks that set it up? I've never used any of those programs before. Yes. I would say if you haven't used the programs at all, try to run through the installation process to see if your computer is able to make that installation. And so if you have any tips, or folks had any issues, stick around. I'll basically dismiss you guys, and if you have any further questions about the installation, maybe we can go over it one by one, just to kind of troubleshoot it and see if that's possible. Okay. Let's take a look. All right, so I have those instructions here. So we'll go over that right after class is over, and then we'll see if anyone needs some additional support in that area, okay? And so let me go ahead and just delete the annotation, so that way it's not confusing anyone there. And again, you can click onto the Adobe Cloud Access instruction link, which is a PDF file, and download it. But this should hopefully run you through the process. Sometimes if it says like a trial, you have to log out and click onto the real email, which deactivates the trial and activates the full version. So I'll try to walk you through it, but it is a combination of like, did I run through the steps, and does my computer have the capability of holding it? Okay. Okay. Quick question, Professor. I have a question. Do you recommend using the Procreate app to edit or make designs? That's a good question. Procreate is supposed to be like a competitor to Adobe. I would say to edit or make designs in this class, I would say focus on Adobe Illustrator, because not every company buys Procreate. You have to look at it from an economic standpoint. Like some companies will invest in Procreate if they can afford it, but it's cheaper to invest in like full Creative Cloud and get like 20 programs for like $10 or less per month. That's more beneficial to a business. And then they have all the tools that interlink and do cloud saving and cloud computing, all that stuff, which Procreate does do. But there's more, Adobe offers more value because they have like many more programs included in the subscription, if that makes sense, right? So they try to win you over like with the bundle, and Procreate is like this sort of luxury version of the app. And for those that don't know, if you have like there's an app called Procreate that has like a lot of brushes and a lot of really interesting tools, and they're pretty innovative in their approaches, and it's kind of like where Adobe Illustrator should be with some of their stuff, but they're not there yet. But they'll get there because they launched their app I think a year or two ago, and it's slowly getting better and better. So and I think they're including it in their subscription for like the same price too. So they're trying to level up some of their offers. It's supposed to give you the Photoshop and other programs. So yeah, when you get the Adobe subscription, if everything worked properly, you'll see multiple apps available to you. And so for this class, you only have to worry about Adobe Illustrator. But let's say if you have the capacity and the storage, and your computer can handle the other programs like Photoshop, then go for it. You can go ahead and download it, open it, and in that it's all free to you guys. So if I understand correctly, you have like 20 programs for free when you're a student at Rio. So as long as you're a student at Rio and you go through the installation process every semester for that class, then those apps should be available to you, provided that your computer can hold it, because you know, you might be able to hold one program, but just make sure that you can do other ones as well. So don't go crazy downloading everything, because if your computer's old, it might stall or slow down because of your download. Okay, so it's trial and error. Okay, some commentary here. I have Adobe from my classes last semester. Just logged out and logged back in. Gave me a verification code to Rio, but when I log back in, it still says that the account is expired and is able to, and able to use the next 4 days. So I think IT is going to need to be notified. Okay, then IT will probably be notified for that. Send me an email for that, Genevieve, okay? Include your student ID number, and I will try to fast track that over to you with the IT folks. It's basically going to be that IT test link, and then we'll get you going from there, okay? Oh yeah, I've used it on a different laptop that I borrowed from my sister. Okay, yeah, and that's another thing too. The way this version works is that with this subscription, you should technically be able to open up 2 different computers under the same account. So, for example, if you're home and then you go to Rio and you're using one of the computers on campus, technically Adobe will allow you 2 different IP addresses or 2 different quote computers to download to use your that one account. If it detects more than 2, then it'll say, well, which one do you want to boot out or kick out, so that you're still keeping to the 2 different computers. And that's based on the idea that one is at work or school and the other one is at home. Okay, so that's kind of the idea behind that. Okay, all right, wonderful. Okay guys, so next Tuesday, be ready. We're gonna meet the rest of the class. You guys will have some one-on-one time, and then we'll be transitioning into the first unit, which is the designer therapy unit, which we'll talk a little bit about all the interesting topics related to designers for that week. And for some reason, I can't find my stop share button. So where is that lovely feature there? Gotta love it. There it is. Oh, I don't want to stop the video, but I do want to stop the sharing. There it goes. And yes, you'll be sharing your name cards next week, but not now. So next Tuesday, you'll be sharing their name cards. Okay, so you have today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Monday to work on it and put it all together. Okay, sound good? All right. All right, guys, I'm going to officially dismiss you. Okay, have a wonderful weekend. If you have any further questions, please stick around and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding any of the programs or any topics that we discussed this evening. But have fun with it, enjoy, and be ready for your name cards presentations on Tuesday, okay? All right, email me if you have any questions. Welcome to the class, guys. Have some fun with this. All right, we'll see you then.
Can I ask a